So UserPod started out 3 months ago at a hackathon in San Francisco. And we walked in, and there was a bunch of teams that got together and they wanted to solve a big problem. And so what we aimed for was customer support, because it's just absolutely horrible. When you call for product support, you know you're going to be on the phone for a while. You know that you're going to get someone who's possibly unknowledgeable, maybe even rude. You get passed along, put on hold, and you sometimes don't get it resolved, but you spend a lot of time. So a lot of people will spend more time trying to fix it themselves rather than have to deal with that. But then as we were going along with this, we were going to release it to consumers, but we've been getting a lot more requests for an enterprise version because enterprises are having a lot of trouble managing their inventory. And right now, they're basically walking around with bulky scanners and manually updating spreadsheets. So there's no automation, there's no collaboration there. So UserPod, we're aiming to transform your already existing mobile device, meaning your mobile phone, and you're going to be able to scan a product ID, serial tag, serial number, service tag, and all products have one because they need to be identified by the manufacturer in order to get warranties, software, hardware upgrades. So it's like having an entire support center in your pocket. It's the same tools that customer support representatives use, and we don't have them, but we're the product owners. So it just makes sense that we should have those tools as well. So the current problems are, it's difficult to find support contact information. A lot of people, when something breaks or goes wrong, they don't know where to begin. They don't know where to look for the contact information. You have to dig through a website, look for a manual. It's difficult to find detailed information about your product. You can see all the products and know that you have a DVD player, but you don't know if the warranty's expired. You don't know if there's been a recall. You don't know anything about it, really. There's no up-to-date product notifications letting you know when your warranty is going to run out. So when you call for support, what happens is you're going to end up paying for it because you don't realize that the warranty ran out. And there's no support call history. A lot of times they won't remember that you called, the problem never got resolved, and you can't go back and reference when you did call and who you spoke to. So here's how we deal with it. You basically download the application, scan the service tag on, say, a Dell laptop, for example. That gets added to a cloud list, and we pull that information from the manufacturer database. You can do this now by going to Dell website, punching in a service tag without having an account, and you can get all this information already. So we provide it here, right in the screen. Now you know how long your warranty is. You know there's 2 updates available. If you want support on that product, you simply click on it, and it provides all the information that the representative is going to ask you about, because a lot of times you don't have that available, and you have to put them on hold to go find that information, or you have to lift up your printer and look underneath and find all this out. So there's a big button there, Call Dell Support. And here's the call history. So it tells the manufacturer the number you called, the date, the time, the length of the call, things that you can go back and reference and say, listen, I called you guys on this date at this time, and now they know that you did, because here's your receipt for that. The enterprise solution is going to solve a lot of problems. My CTO, he is the IT director of Marriott International, and our senior software engineer is working at Oracle. And they are currently working on scanners and Excel spreadsheets, and they've expressed their frustration and the amount of time that they have to spend dealing with these things. We are still under development, but we have a beta invite, and we've been allowing people to sign up so that we can send them a link when the consumer version is ready, and that's the first one that we want to release. But in order to do the enterprise version, it's going to take a lot larger of an effort, and so that's why we're still looking for funding right now, and we've been funding this ourselves. That's about it.
So one quick question. It just seems as though this would be a fairly, the barriers to entry for anyone else to come and do the same thing would be fairly low. I mean, there isn't there isn't a lot of basic IP in here. Is there, would that be accurate, or is there something else that?
There's actually a lot of companies that do this now. So if you go to Dell's website and you download their application, then they basically have some of the same tools here. And then there's third-party companies that aren't part of the manufacturer, but they try to provide, say, a warranty service. And some of them provide, like Fast Customer, for example, they'll provide, you can call a customer support line, and if you're put on hold, you can just have them call you back. So there are different companies that do this, but we're the only one who brings all of these into a mobile suite that you can carry with you, so you don't have to download 100 applications or, you know, an application for every single thing that you own.
Have you thought of issues like, you know, manufacturers that is not in your database, that you don't have linked to? What do you do in that case?
Yeah, that's a good question. And what we do right now is we get the information from the manufacturer's database. We actually have our database working. And what happens is when someone goes looking for this information, it pulls it from, say, Dell, and then it stores it in our database, so it caches it. But we do have to continue to go back to their database from time to time because warranties and software updates and recalls are all things that are constantly updated. And so we want to keep caching information, but we want to keep getting it you know, regularly. But it's in their best interest to be involved with us, and we're actually talking to Oracle right now, the IT teams at Oracle, and Dell as well, because right now people don't realize that they need a warranty, for example, and so they're not going to go buy one. But if they're in the application and they get a notification saying, you need a warranty for this, would you like to extend it? And they say yes, and they click, and we send them to go get the warranty at Dell. So now we're referring someone to Dell, and they're making that sale. They're selling a warranty now, and they're doing it because they came through the application. And that brings me to the monetization. For the consumer version, we have a freemium model, and you would go to premium to get like call support history and all those other additional tools. For enterprise, there'll be licensing, but the manufacturer referral fee is where the real money is going to come from, because they're going to be making sales.
So where do you want to focus? You want to focus on the enterprise, or you want to focus on the consumer? Both are two different marketing.
They are.
Everything is different.
Yeah, well, in a nutshell, we can afford to do the consumer version right now, and we're already working on it. So we have the database, and we also have the design and the clickable prototypes done for that, and that's what we originally set out to do. So we're going to move forward with that. But if we get the funding that we need, then the enterprise version is what everybody's really asking for. And we've had some big players mention that they would love to beta test this. So that's very promising.
So following up on what Jagdish was mentioning earlier, you have the obvious examples of Dell and so on. But if you look at the vast space of products out there, are you focusing on any particular sector to begin with, like computer sector or automobiles, or? And that's the first part of the question. The second part is, in places where you don't have this information easily available, let's say in a website, for instance, are you building your own back-end operations to acquire the data by some way, shape, or form, so that a consumer who's using this app will not be, can access anything or everything pretty much and make it somewhat comprehensive? Or how does that work? I mean, will there be gaps in your, on the kinds of products that they can get information on? Yeah, well, what we're finding is we actually had a pretty good discovery. Is we thought that, the consumer electronic market, which is, a $200 billion market, 1 trillion global, which is enormous, and we thought that we were just going to do that. Okay. Laptops, printers, things like that. But we've been finding out that, newer products in your house, such as microwaves, coffee machines, refrigerators, all have this product ID as well. And the manufacturer's website also provides the information. So it's interesting that if we did do the consumer version successfully first,
then you could actually scan something like a refrigerator or a coffee machine and have that show up in your list and get support for that as well. So a household item, something that a wife or someone who uses these things on a daily basis would find very useful.
So in order to encourage a consumer to download an app like this, which is like a $1 to $3 app that how do you scale it to make it a profitable or a...
Yeah, well, it would be a freemium, so you'd download it for free. You would unlock extra features by going for the premium version.
Oh.
But the integrated social features for people that, and I didn't show that in this presentation because I was told that we only have 3 minutes, but apparently we have like half an hour. So, but we want to integrate the social features, and what we want to do is allow people who have the same products, be able to talk to each other so that they can share information about those products that maybe the manufacturer didn't even know. But also that grows the crowd.
We are up with the time.
Yeah.
The last question is, since it's a market research question to find out what is really the extent of interest in something, because you said there's a beta invite. So have you found out, do you have any sort of traction on this? What kind of information are you finding out on that?
We have a lot of traction. We just recently we won a couple of competitions, and we also just went to a global mobile internet conference event in San Jose, and there was, thousands of people there, and so we got a lot of exposure. And we have been noticing that a lot of people are signing up. We don't know the exact number because I haven't looked at it in over a week, but we do have a lot of people signing up, and we don't even have it fully developed yet. So it's very exciting that the customer acquisition is happening on a daily basis. Not a day has gone by where a handful of people haven't signed up looking for it. So we're excited about that.
The third place goes to UserPod. UserPod.
And the entrepreneur that he is, today morning is when we connected and he could make it. Before he was not able to, but he could last minute, and he drove all the way from Seaside. Great. One more clap.